Now I would like to bring to the stage Hillary and Bishop Elias Taban. A lot of you heard him last night when he was honored with one of our Global Citizens Award. But Hillary, as they come up, I just want to say this. She, as everybody knows now, traveled nearly 1 million miles as Secretary of State and went to a country or two. She was always meeting these people. You know, I was fascinated by stories of this brilliant foreign minister that in all the years that we have been in public life, I have never heard her speak more glowingly of anyone than she did this former child soldier who wound up being an Anglican bishop. So we honored him last night, and for those of you who weren't there, you will see why today. So let's give them a big hand.
Thank you very much. Bill is absolutely right. I've been privileged to meet and work with a great number of extraordinary people, men and women. And I think those of you who were at the dinner last night got a small taste of why I came away so inspired by Bishop Taban. I also would like to acknowledge his wife who is here. She is a true partner in every sense of the word. Now let me just give you a very quick introduction, because I really want him to talk with you about what it's like to be at the birth of a new country after having fought for so many years to make that dream possible. When I met the bishop and Grace, I was in Juba. I had gone there on behalf of our country to try to help the South Sudanese get the oil flowing again so that they could work toward the kind of development to create opportunities for children like that beautiful little baby who is there. And right before I was to land in Juba, Bishop Taban wrote an op-ed. Now, I am a great reader of op-eds of all kinds of subjects and from many different types of people. This one had such a moral vision and clarity about what was needed to build this new country. And I want to introduce the bishop to tell you a little bit about his life and his struggle and what he hopes for now by just quoting from what he had written. "There must always come a point," he wrote, "when we look forward and recognize the need to stop fighting over past wrongs so we can build toward a new future." That is one of the hardest lessons for people to learn on any level, personal, political, and yet it is the essential lesson. How does one move forward? And I told the bishop and his wife that when I met with the president and the leadership of the country, I had a copy. Well, in fact, I had about a dozen copies of his op-ed. And as they were explaining to me all the reasons why they couldn't compromise, they couldn't move beyond the horrors of the past, they couldn't make a deal on getting oil going so they could have resources to build this new country, I took out copies of that op-ed, and I pushed one over toward President Salva Kiir, and I said, before we go any further, I would appreciate your reading this. And he began to read, and he looked at the name as who wrote it, and he looked at me and he goes, "He was a soldier with me." I said, "Yes, but now he's a man of peace." And so, Bishop, tell us about the life journey that has brought you to this stage, and perhaps describe for all of us here what your country needs now that we can be thinking about how to help you achieve.
In the first place, I would like to thank Secretary Hillary Clinton. I just wanted to say, before I would tell you about, or tell my brothers and sisters here about my life story, your visit to Juba has resulted to what is going on now in Juba. I want to tell you that the oil is flowing. There is an agreement between South-North. There's now an integrated force that is to take care of the border issues. The Northern Army and the Southern Army are trying now to work together to solve the problem. So you stepping in was really, really an answer for prayers. I was born 10th of May 1955 in the little town of Yei in southern Sudan. By that time, we were still under the colonial rule from Britain. And when I was born that morning, there were gunshots at Yei police station, and my mother was in labor with me. As I was born, I was screaming, and there were gunshots at the police station. And as my mother told me, everybody in Yei Civil Hospital left into the jungle for their safety. And she was left alone in the maternity ward. I am the firstborn of my mother, and she said, I tried to run, leaving you behind, but you are screaming on your birthbed. Then I had to come back for you. And she took me in her hands without any clothes to cover. My cord was freshly cut and it was bleeding. It was not treated. And she hid with me in the jungle for 3 days. And according to her, she was crushing leaves and squeezing liquids out of leaves on the wound of my cord. My dear brothers and sisters, that's why I say my life is a grace from God. And then in the rule of President Ibrahim Aboud of Sudan, and everybody knows Ibrahim Aboud of Sudan was very smart in introducing Islamic in southern Sudan, and all Christian institutions were closed. We were taken to Islamic school. My names were changed to Muhammad Ali Munshur, and we were given Islamic robes and all that. But then, of course, the first movement started that is known as Anyanya fighters, that's liberation fighters for freedom. And my father was involved. But one time I went for holidays to the village, and then the village was raided, and I was taken as well. And I became a child soldier at the age of 12. That war continued. And my father, seeing a lot of children being killed in the war, he went to his commander and said, I've seen a lot of children dying, and I don't want to see my son die alongside me. Please, if you could let my child go, and then I will remain behind to fight the war, I would be very grateful. And the commander was grateful to my father because he loves my father, and he loves the talents and gifts of my father, and said, yes, have your son and take him. So my father brought me to the Sudan-Uganda border and said, my son, bye-bye, go. I was left to walk alone into Uganda, and I was found by the UN agencies. 1972, that war ended up, and we had a peace until 1982. In 1983, the war started again. That is the Sudan People's Liberation Army, headed by Dr. John Garang Dimabir. And both that war, both me and my wife were involved. And my wife went into active military service. She went to the rank of a colonel in the Sudan People's Liberation Army. I was doing logistics and some political work, by then with the President Mobutu of Congo. And that war, we ended it up in 2005 with a peace agreement in Naivasha. I don't want to keep you on history, but I just want to go straight to the challenges. One of the challenges is like this baby you see in our hands. I'm 58 years old. We were married for more than 27 years now. And we had only one child that died at the age of 1.5 months. And we didn't have children. But in all the struggles, God led our hearts to take care of orphans and widows. So we are the lead in southern Sudan in running orphanages taking care of orphans and war disabled. Because of this, we have signed a partnership agreement with the government of Southern Sudan with the Commission of War Disabled Widows and Orphans, because we are the lead in doing that. So my wife manages that a lot. This child was just found 6 February 2013 in the jungle of Yei. Early in the morning, we were given a phone call on the 6th of February this year, and the police said, "Bishop, we have found the baby here. Can we give this baby to you?" We said, "Well, we take orphans at the age of 5 years old." Now, this one is how long? They said, "He's just born this morning and he was thrown screaming in the bush." Then I talked to my wife. She said, "If it is the call of God in our life, we have no choice. Let them bring the child." And then I called the police. I said, my wife told me you should bring the child. They said, "Bishop, wait a minute. The cord is not cut. We want to rush the hospital and make sure that it's cut." So they had to take the baby to the hospital. The cord was cut, and the baby was brought to us. Now he's almost 8 months old. And I want to tell you that he started scrolling here in the Sheraton Hotel. So, President Bill Clinton, this is a result of what you have done in the life across the world. That even to the extent of children like this can be brought to your country and they start to crawl here. I've sent back home a video of this boy when we put him down and he was walking on his knees in the room. And I said, "John is crawling now here in the hotel that we accommodated in." And people at home said, "Well, we have to come here and to start crawling." The need in my country is development in every area. It is a huge need. Sometimes you feel where to start to say, "I need to do this." We have no roads. Completely, when the rain starts, we are drilling water wells. We have done about 500 water wells, but our rigs are stagnant between June and October because we can't move them in some of the areas. We need to build roads. And because of this, we have started with an American team a project known as Roads for Change. Right now, we are trying to mobilize used equipments here, road building equipments, and if possible, we ask for friends to ship them to Southern Sudan. In Yei, in Southern Sudan, in Yei, we were the lead in growing coffee. And also with the help of our friends who have done, from the US, who have done coffee in Rwanda, we have started with them a project known as Restore the Bean, so that we can also be able to revive our coffee and be able to export some crops beside, depending on the oil. We need schools. We need health centers. In some villages, you hardly even find a nurse in a population of over 10,000 people. Simple, just a community health worker is not there. So the need is so overwhelming, but we believe that with the help of people that needs to advocate for us, like you have done, we will reach the goal. So we are so privileged, both me and my wife, and we believe that this connection has exposed us to so many of you. Yesterday I met a number of people that I've never seen in my life, greeting and hugging me, giving me business cards and saying, "Bishop, we are praying for you, and we would like to stand with you." So I mean to say, that is really the need.
Well, Bishop, I think there are a lot of us who want to stand with you, and I wanted to ask if you could perhaps share what it will take for people, not just in your region of the world, but anywhere in the world, to move on. How did you, a baby born and within hours hiding in the jungle, a child soldier, you're a man of faith, but there are many people who claim to be men and women of faith who do not reach out to their fellow men and women and try to heal old wounds, as you have. What would be your advice to any of us, whether we're in government or in the private sector or in the not-for-profit sector here with CGI, to try to instill this belief that we have to leave the past behind, and what counts is what we do today and tomorrow to take care of more babies like little John and help more children like the young Mexican musicians.
I meant to say, war is not something that is people want to do, whether you or your enemy. If you find yourselves in war, both sides doesn't love it, but already you are engaged into it. But when war comes to an end, always the best thing to think is to know that your enemy, who is armless, is no more your enemy. You need to be able to reconcile and forgive one another. One of the things that we have done in our water well drilling, Water is Basic is what our organization is called, we have gone into Darfur to sink some water wells. Before we voted for independence of Southern Sudan, we went there in to drill water wells. And people in Darfur who are northerners, they're saying, you know, we have been fighting with you all these years. What has brought you here to do these water wells here? And we told them, because God told us to love our enemies as ourselves. So, and that has really made them even think of how evil war is. So I would like to say, many times we tend to hold on the past. And as you hold on the past, you will never progress, you will never advance. But when you know that the past is a bygone, we need to live, we need to continue with life, and I need to forgive my brother and my sister, that will open up a door of civilization, a door of progress in humanity.
Well, thank you so very much for reminding us about what is important. And I thank you for joining us at this CGI. I think many who are here will want to remain informed about what you are doing and how they can help. What is the best way to contact you and the people you work with in order to assist you in building this new future?
One thing I want to thank God is that really the American people are great. And I want to say, I'm sorry to say this. I hope it won't offend another person, because CGI has brought people all over the world. They're here. But I want just to say shamelessly that the nation of America is my nation of Israel. Since 2002, when still bombs were raining on us, there had been people who had been coming from this country to stand with us, even in the bunkers, in the bomb shelters. So all the projects that we do, we have American partners. With water wells, we have Water is Basic. I have one of my partners who is with me here in this building right now, Steve Orish. Water is Basic, Sudan project. If you want to find a water well, you channel funds there, and you will help us sink water wells where people are drinking mud water. I want just to say, you know, the UN agencies and even USAID, they pay $15,000 to $20,000 per water well. And we sing a water well for $5,000 in Southern Sudan. And you can see how far your money can go. And if you want to fund, in our orphanage project, we have got His Voice Global, which is also a charity based here in the US. They're the people who work with us in trying to connect and find solicit funds to help us go. And in Roads for Change, we have also partners here. So what I mean to say, we are working with the American people. If you want to support us, you can get through our partners who are here. And at the same time, I just want to say, we love to work together because for transparency. You know, we are always suffering because we're being leveled of corruption. But when I work hand in hand with my American partners, they know what the regulations here are, and they know what kind of reporting and accountability we need to be. And then, of course, that makes us get more to get on.
Well, let's show our appreciation to Bishop Taban for what he is doing for this brand new country, South Sudan.
Thank you.